Algorithmic addiction by design. A legal reckoning is underway. Social media platforms stand accused of engineering addiction through their algorithms, trapping users in digital cages designed to maximize engagement at any cost. We are witnessing what many are calling the big tobacco moment for social media. The accusation is clear. Platforms deliberately design their products to be addictive, targeting vulnerable populations, especially children and teens. As of January 2026, multiple trials are proceeding against major tech companies. The harm is documented and severe, rising rates of anxiety, depression, self-harm, and suicide among young users. The legal strategy focuses on product liability, arguing these platforms are defectively designed. The motive behind this design is simple: monetizing the attention economy. The key metric is engagement, measured in time spent on platform. The target is everyone, but especially the young and vulnerable. The goal is to exploit what Sean Parker, founding president of Facebook, admitted, creating a social validation feedback loop that exploits human psychological vulnerability. As he said, God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains. Let's examine the anatomy of addictive design. These platforms employ dark patterns that systematically manipulate user autonomy. 5 key techniques stand out: variable rewards that create unpredictability, social reciprocity that obligates responses, scarcity and urgency that drive fear of missing out, personalization that creates filter bubbles, and gamification that turns interaction into compulsion. Exhibit A, the dopamine loop. Just like a slot machine, the pull to refresh mechanism on smartphones triggers intermittent reinforcement. You never know what you'll get when you pull down to refresh your feed. This unpredictability releases dopamine, the same neurochemical involved in gambling addiction. The result is compulsive checking behavior, with users refreshing their feeds dozens or even hundreds of times per day. Exhibit B, the feedback trap. Internal documents from Project Daisy reveal the calculated manipulation behind the like button. Psychologically, likes trigger social validation and dopamine release, creating dependency on external approval. From a business perspective, likes generate massive engagement data and drive the viral spread of content. Meta's own research showed that removing like counts reduced anxiety, yet they resisted making this change because it would hurt engagement metrics. Exhibit C, override mechanisms. Platforms deploy invasive notifications designed to interrupt and recapture attention. These alerts exploit our fear of social exclusion and create artificial urgency. Meanwhile, infinite scroll and autoplay remove natural stopping points, making it nearly impossible for users to self-regulate their consumption. These features override our conscious decision-making, keeping us scrolling long past our intended stopping point. Exhibit D, weaponizing FOMO. Ephemeral content like stories in live mode creates manufactured urgency. When content disappears after 24 hours, users feel compelled to check constantly or risk missing out. Internal research at Instagram showed this feature significantly increased anxiety among teen users, particularly girls. Yet the feature was expanded because it drove engagement numbers higher. The gap between public statements and private knowledge is damning. Publicly, executives claimed safety was their highest priority, but insider revelations tell a different story. Internal documents show companies knew their products harmed teens, yet they prioritized engagement metrics over user well-being. Whistleblowers have exposed how safety features were deliberately weakened when they threatened growth targets. The consequences of this phone-based childhood are devastating. We've seen a massive shift from play-based to phone-based childhood, resulting in 4 major harms. Social deprivation, less face-to-face interaction and weakened social skills. Sleep deprivation, blue light exposure, and late-night scrolling disrupting critical developmental rest. Attention fragmentation, constant interruptions destroying the ability to focus deeply. And addiction, compulsive use patterns meeting clinical criteria for behavioral addiction. The data on teen mental health is alarming. From 2011 to 2021, we see sharp increases across all metrics. Persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness rose dramatically, especially among girls. Serious consideration of suicide attempts increased significantly. Actual suicide attempts climbed steadily throughout the decade. The timing of these increases correlates directly with the widespread adoption of smartphones and social media among teens. The legal strategy centers on product defect liability. Section 230 has traditionally shielded platforms from liability for user-generated content. However, this shield doesn't protect against claims that the product itself is defectively designed. The argument is clear. The addictive features are not content, they are product design choices. Just as a car manufacturer can be held liable for defective brakes, social media companies can be held liable for addictive algorithms. As of January 2026, the legal landscape is active and evolving. Multiple cases are proceeding to trial against Meta, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube. Some defendants have reached confidential settlements. The significance cannot be overstated. These are the first major trials alleging intentional engineering of addiction targeting minors. The outcomes will set precedents for the entire tech industry. Beyond litigation, regulatory and legislative action is accelerating. Age restrictions and verification requirements are being implemented in multiple jurisdictions. Anti-dark pattern strategies are being mandated, including chronological feeds as the default, removal of infinite scroll, limits on notifications, and transparency in algorithmic recommendations. The goal is to de-weaponize social media feeds and restore user autonomy.